welcome back to another video about a children's trading card game. Today we're going to be talking about the furries, starting with the starter. No one cares. Let's move on to the grade 1. So here we've got Sylvan Horned Beast Karis. When this is rode upon by the grade 2, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a grade 2 or less unit, call it to rear. If it isn't, put it into your soul. That first skill is probably always going to give you the unit. The amount of grade 3s and orders you're running is going to be very minimal. It doesn't specify normal units, so triggers will also be called. So this is probably just going to +1 you to board for free, which is pretty good. If it doesn't, it's going to feel kind of bad if you lose your orders, or specifically if you lose your Magnolias, that's going to feel really bad. But it shouldn't happen most of the time, so this is just going to be a free +1, which is nice. Granted, not a necessarily particularly high quality +1, much rather at red draw, but here you go. And then on the back row, during the battle this unit attacked, this unit gets +5k. It's basically never going to matter. It's a really, it's really not very good. You'll get outscaled by a single defensive. So there's no point. There's no point. It's not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This isn't. I don't think this card's particularly good. Probably just gonna play the one in the main. I really don't know that you would want to be wasting necessarily your main deck slots on this. However, if you really want to have that versatility of being able to rip one card from your opponent's hand, if you swing this from back row on the Persona Ride Magnolia turn, then sure, it's okay. Next we've got Sylvan Horned Beast Lattice. So when this is rode upon by Magnolia, the grade 3, Soul Blast 1, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a unit, call it to rear. If it isn't, put it in your hand. This is just straight plus. This is really good. And back row rear, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, and it gets 10k until the end of the battle. This is obviously much better. It'll be 20k. Still not necessarily a particularly big number, because, that's just 18, which is, just 10k to guard. So not really that difficult. And again, gets immediately outscaled by a single defensive, so not super good, but it's something. And of course, if you can buff it up even more, that'll be scary. But yeah, again, a very low power amount. Definitely, though, I can see you actually playing this at 4 in the main, though, again, gonna depend on the booster set support, but this this definitely feels a lot better than the grade 1 to actually use. So yeah, I can see this actually, hanging around. This is the big boy, Sylvan Horn Beast King Magnolia. Vanguard circle at the end of the battle. This unit attacked. Counterblast 1. Choose one of your rear guards until the end of that turn. That unit can attack from the back row. Gets 5k. And if you Persona Row this turn, choose 3 rear guards instead of 1. So, with this skill, your 13k grade 1 becomes 18k. So that it becomes a little threatening. Still outscaled by a single defensive. Your 20k grade 2 becomes 25k. So no longer outscaled by a single defensive. It'll be forcing 5k guards, but that's something. That's pretty good. The downside, though, of course, is with those grade 2s, is you're going to have to be soul blasting for every single one you want to use. And that comes to a very big issue with this deck, which is you're going to find yourself that running very low on resources very frequently. That's sort of something that, of course, can get fixed, and at that point it'll become very scary. But at the moment, one really big issue is just a total lack of resources. So your pushes are really not that scary at all. But as a unit, this is really, really powerful. This skill is really scary. This more than anything else. I expect the ride line is decent. It's going to plus you as you go up it, and then you end on this. This is a really powerful skill. Persona Ride's going to give 10k to your whole front row, and then you can swing with your whole back row as well. So the only downside is you of course have to swing with your Vanguard first, when you might prefer to be poking with your back row rears or something. But I don't know if that's fine. This is really, really good. Next, we've got Seizing / Mutant Bruce Lash. This is 10k, garbage because it's vanilla. Sylvan Horned Beast Duga, stupid name. This is 15k on rear, which again, it'll be 20k with that 5k buff from Magnolia if it's in back row. Still outscaled by a single defensive. This is good if you put it in front row, because then with an 8k boost behind it, it's going to be 23k. That's reasonably threatening. So that's nice. This is okay. This card's pretty good. I can see you actually playing this card in the main deck, especially because you make a board really quite easily in Magnolia, since you spend your first... every ride line is going to probably +1 you to board, so that's pretty good. Looting Petal Stomalia. This is act on rear once per turn. Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1. It's Soul Blasting again. Until the end of the turn, this gets boost and power plus 5k. So the Counter Blast is less of an issue. The Soul Blast it probably is. This becoming a 15k booster is obviously very nice. This with a Duga is going to be 30k, which is pretty good. That's reasonably threatening, but nothing that sort of other decks can't put out very easily. And you have to kind of put in a lot of work to make that work. Even a Persona, like the turn you Persona ride, you're not going to want to do this because you'd rather be swinging with this from the back row, which will again still only be a 15k attacker, so you wouldn't really want to be using this. Are you starting to see what I mean about like the deck just not meshing together at the moment, like at all? It's just not doing anything scary, despite Magnolia having a terrifying skill. Let's keep going. Knight of Friendship Cyrus, once per turn, Soul Blast 2, real top card of your deck. If it's a unit, call it to rear. If it isn't, put it into your hand. Are you Chief? But I ain't spending the soul on this. If this deck gets more ways to soul charge that it can afford to just spend it on something like this to just get a plus, that's really good. But at the moment, it definitely cannot. Hopeful Maiden Alejandra, this is of course the Perfect Guard, so that's going to be staple. And then Call to Beasts. This is Blitz Order, choose one unit, gets 5k until the end of the battle. If you have 3 or more, it becomes 15k. This is really, really solid, especially in Magnolia, where you are very easily going to meet the condition for this to be a 15k guard. It's a 15k guard. It's very solid. This is solid in Magnolia. How generic is its utility outside of that? Bit up in the air. You don't necessarily want to be calling a bigger board a lot of the time, especially with Seraph, for example, existing in the format, which will of course be the next video. So if you're interested in finding out my thoughts on that, you should subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Smooth, right? Yeah, this is a solid Blitz Order that is, 15k shield is 15k shield. It's good. But let's wrap up overall opinions. I think the ride line itself is solid. I think the ride line units outside are kind of meh. The grade 2 has the most potential to be decent. I think Magnolia is terrifying. And I think there is just a total lack of synergy in the starter deck with how anything works. It feels like it feels like a deck that was designed for 5k triggers, not 10k triggers. Because everything you have is outscaled by basically pretty much everything is outscaled by a single defensive, because you're not able to be boosting your front row, so you're sort of making that trade-off. But of course, if you're pushing so many of these small attacks, your opponent just takes 1 or 2, they take that risk, and if they hit a single defensive, your turn's kind of over. Like this deck, it turns like 1 in 16 chance to your turn ending due to overtriggers to like a 16 out of 16 chance if your opponent hits a single trigger. Like especially since you're probably swimming with Vanguard first, that's an attack they can just afford to take. Yeah. I think Magnolia is really strong as a card, but as a deck, I think it's pretty weak at the moment. But we will see. Hopefully that changes with the set 1 support, and then, of course, moving into the future set 2. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you did like the video, subscribe to the channel, as I say. Next will be Seraph. And leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did I underrate, overrate? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.